My name is Kassie. My name is Kassie, and before I tell you the title of my speech, I want to read you this quote. In the 70s, they blamed Dobermans. In the 80s, they blamed German Shepherds. In the 90s, they blamed Rottweilers. Now they blame Pit Bulls. When will we blame humans? By Cesar Millan. If you don't already know who Cesar Millan is, he's a dog behaviorist and psychologist. And basically, he doesn't believe that the breed of dog determines their temperament. And that's what leads into my topic. The BS, so the title of my speech is the BS about BSL laws. Why you should oppose BSL laws? They encourage negative stereotypes. They cause the death and abandonment of innocent animals, and they punishes the innocent majority for the mistakes of irresponsible pet owners. So what is a BSL law? A BSL law stands for breed-specific legislation. This is a law that bans specific breeds of dogs due to the belief that they're genetically born aggressive or dangerous. There are about 75 different kinds of breeds of dogs in the United States that are banned throughout the country. But the top 10 are obviously, you've probably already heard, Pit Bulls are normally the number one that everyone's afraid of and believes are vicious. Then it's Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Boxers, Huskies, Alaskan Malamutes, Dobermans, Chow Chows, Pesca, Cario, and Dalmatians. And then you have to believe, if we already have 75 breeds of dogs already banned, when will it be your dog next? So right here, I have a chart I made that I collected information from the American Kennel Club Association. And they do temperament testing on all different kinds of breeds of dogs. And this shows you the temperaments of the actual dogs. So a Pit Bull is believed to be the most aggressive kind of dog, and yet it scored an 86 on its temperament test, which is about a B+. And that's a lot higher than a lot of dogs like Chihuahuas, which get a lot lower scores, and they're actually known to be more aggressive and bite more people. And then you can also see Rottweilers 84, Huskies 87. So racial profiling is wrong. So basically, we're saying, don't judge a book by its cover. The bans are supporting discrimination and stereotyping. Animals should be judged on case-to-case basis, just like humans are. We don't automatically say, oh, because of the way you look, you're automatically guilty. That's what these laws basically do. Would it be okay to classify an entire race of people based off of the bad actions of a few? These bans promote genocide. It's no different from the genocide of the Jews in Nazi Germany. So basically, what these laws do is, if you live in an area where these dogs are banned, they go in and they take your dogs and they euthanize them. And it doesn't matter if your dog didn't do anything wrong, they're going to euthanize it anyway, just because it's the law. These laws are not based off of professional research data or advice from actual specialists in animal behavior. They're bans made by political figures that do not have qualifications to make these kind of decisions. And so I'm going to show you a video that demonstrates this.
One juvenile are in custody.
There were gambling monies that were involved. There were narcotics involved.
Also the presence of a toddler who was allowed to watch.
Underground dogfights, endangering animals.
Even a treadmill for dogs, all seized from this Dayton home.
The media is the main way people learn about things being frightening.
The stories that came in about pit bulls just took us into a different world.
Well, did a local councilman sick the dogs on pit bull activists?
Again, I'm Brian Powers, and I propose this legislation, and I know for many of you that makes me the enemy.
This guy wanted to know what I did for a living. He wanted to know, if there's kids in my house.
A city is very often in a mode of taking laws that the state passes and then having to adjust their own laws to fit it, and then we have to pay to enforce them.
Everybody's looking at this black guy with locked hair, with a black dog, standing on Clifton Boulevard. He must have did something. The stereotype things that can come out.
If it has saved one life, then the legislation has done its job.
It was my belief that we could maximize our efforts by banging the drum loudly, and we did.
He was very good at using the media to drive this as well. That drives perception, that drives fear.
And they forced several families to move out of Ohio and into Michigan, and they killed a couple of nice dogs. That was a success story.
We can't allow one group of dogs to become a repository for some vague fear that we have about dogs.
Today, I ask for your support in taking another large step forward. Since 1987, Ohio has statutorily classified a certain breed of dog to be vicious.
Every time it's been reintroduced and every time it's been discussed, the momentum gets a little bit bigger and the push gets a little bit bigger.
Question is, shall the bill as amended pass? The House will prepare and proceed to vote.
So this leads into the fact that it's punishing innocent pets and owners. So these laws force owners to surrender their pets, to put them down, and a lot of the time these BSL laws include service dogs or service animals. So you might be a disabled person because you have either like post-traumatic stress disorder because you're a Vietnam vet, or you might have a physical disability where you need your animal in order to just get out of bed or do normal things, and they'll actually force you to get rid of your service animal if it's on that list, even if your service animal has been qualified that it's entirely friendly, because they have to be certified in order to be service animals. This is extremely cruel and stressful to these patients, and many of these people rely on their dogs for companionship, comfort, and physical assistance. Where does the owner's responsibility reside? Most dog attacks and bites are due to poor responsibility on the owner's parts, such as food abuse, neglect, and lack of training and socialization. The biggest factor to animal temperament is environmental, and it's not entirely genetic. Even pit bulls, they weren't bred to attack people. They were actually bred as fighting dogs, and that was through human intervention. And most of that gene is already bred out anyway. Just because a dog has the means to hurt you or has the means and power does not mean it's going to use it. Humans buy me, humans overbreed me, humans cut my ears, humans beat me, humans make me fight, and I'm the one you ban. I'm the one who gets a bad rap, and I'm the one you fear. How does this affect you? Even if you don't own one of these dogs that is banned, it creates a stigma and fear against these breeds of dogs that's unnecessary and damaging. This leads to inciting hate upon these animals. So there's people who, because they fear these animals so badly, they'll actually purposely torture, like your neighbor's dog. They don't even do anything to them, but just because they're afraid of them, they might, like there's instances where I remember this one person, they were scared of pit bulls, so they put gasoline on the dog and set it on fire, and the dog didn't even do anything. When you fear an animal, it's more likely to bite because they can sense the fear, and they're wondering why you're afraid of them, and so they feel threatened. Let's say your breed of dog is banned, and then it puts restrictions on your living situation, such as finding an apartment, your traveling arrangements, and it also raises your insurance. Your freedom is being violated. These dogs and owners are not being given a fair trial. So, over 700 US cities have already put BSL laws into action. So these are all the states in the United States that have BSL laws on dogs. So the causes and solutions. According to the ASPCA, more than 70% of all dog bites are involved with unneutered males. So it seems that most dog bites actually have to do with the fact that people are neutering their animals, and a lot of the time it's because they're breeding them. And so, is it really worth breeding your animal if it's going to cause a risk to humans? No. If it's going to save a dog's life or a human's life, why not just neuter your animal? An unneutered male dog is 2.6 times more likely to bite than a neutered dog. 97% of dogs involved in fatal attack in 2006 were not spayed or neutered. 78% were maintained not as pets, but rather guarding, image enhancement, fighting, or breeding. So in most cases, it's either they're not neutered or they've been abused and neglected. So by neutering your pet and being a responsible owner, you reduce these risks. Breed-specific legislation bans are destructive because they create harmful acts of discrimination, cause the death of innocent animals, and allows the actual criminals to these animals as a scapegoat for the malevolent actions. What man does not know, man fears. What man fears, he destroys. And here are my works cited.